I'm not sure if I'm going to be as funny as that guy. Antonio Mazzarelli, 144 Mill Street. Anyway, I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to Mr. Nelson, who's helped me several times with issues on water bills. Thank you to Chris, although I don't know if I should start hating you now too. And Beverly Pop, who's not here. Beverly's been excellent, the best of them all, very responsive, very pleasant to work with. Anyway, the reason I'm here is to talk about excessive water bills. You're probably wondering, okay, why am I talking about excessive water bills now? I'm a landlord, and I'm seeing water bills that are outrageous, like thousands of dollars more than what they should be, right? Why are they so high? I think it's a couple things. I think, one, we got these new meters in, so they're very sensitive. They catch, every drip, et cetera. Two, I know the water and the sewer went up 30 some odd %, right? And, when we got these new meters in, one of the selling points of the new meters was we can read them instantaneously, and therefore we will be able to, warn people when there's excessive usage, when they got a leak or something like that. So what I'm asking the council to do is follow through on, on that, I don't know if I want to call it a promise, but follow through on that logic that says we should go out there and warn people. Right? I'm going to give you a quick story. A few years ago, before Mark was put in place, I literally got a water bill that was $2,000 more than what it should have been. $2,000. Now, I go to one of the apartments, and I'm looking through the apartments. I ask the tenants, anything leaking? No. I go to this guy's house. I open the door to the bathroom. I hear, shh. I'm like, you don't hear that? He goes, oh, it always does that. I'm like, no, it didn't do that when you moved in. So the moron, right? And I shouldn't say moron. People are ignorant, especially when they're not paying the bill. When you're in a tenant situation, that just is the way it is. Long story short, I fixed the thing, and I asked Beverly, hey, Beverly, do you still see the meter running? Because she can tell if it's running at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? She can tell if it's running 24/7 that there's a leak. So she helped me with that. And then she tells me, oh, by the way, you got another high bill coming because we read this meter 2 months ago. So I had another 2 months. Anyway, long story short, I got stuck with $3,000 at that point. The guy who was Mark's predecessor says, I'll meet you halfway, and he takes $500 off of $3,000. Not quite halfway. That's happened to me a couple other times since then. Mark has helped me out. And now my father's got also tenants. He's got a $1,000 bill that's too high, another one that's $400 too high. Mark tells me it's like 3% a quarter get these that are high usage, right? Not everybody gets these high usage letters, so I bet you it's probably more like 5% a quarter. So it's 5% this quarter, 5% the next, 5% the next. So it's 20% a year. 20% this year, 40% after 2 years, 60%. So this is impacting a lot of people. And when it's thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, it's really outrageous. And I'd ask that the city do the right thing and put in an early warning system. Thank you.
Thank you. Giovanni Mazzarelli.
Giovanni Mazzarelli, the more handsome brother of the two of us here. Thanks to the council, thanks to the mayor. First time here, so I'm actually a little nervous, but I want to reiterate what my brother said, that the water bill is a tough thing to do, tough thing to manage. I manage a couple of buildings for my father, and he just mentioned it. The tenant left, the water was running, and now we have a $1,000 bill that I have to collect from him, another $400 bill that's coming the next time, and it's obvious that we get the letters sent to us that there's water leaking, but they're sent to us 2 months later. And they have the possibility, they know, they can read the meters to show that it's actually leaking, right? Because if you use water, like as my brother said, if you see the water being used at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you know that the water's running. The problem is they show it later. So now I have to meet my tenant, who I haven't not told about this problem yet, that we have to deal with this $1,400 bill. And as you can imagine, that would hurt people, and it's just not, it's a tough thing to deal with. Right? People are struggling today, and to tell them, hey, listen, we have this $1,400 bill, now what are we going to do? Now, it's clearly written in his lease that he has to pay it, but again, what do you do? What do you do with that at that point when people are struggling to pay the rent? So that was one issue. Second issue I wanted to just mention, which I have mentioned before, I am a landlord. 697 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, next door to the restaurant there. And I have some graffiti on the building there, which I've actually come to the council before. And when Mayor Austin first became mayor, he chased down the guy with the spray paint can that made the paper. And I actually said, hey, thanks about that. By the way, I have this painting on my building. It's been going on like 2 years now. The city has a program where they could remove the graffiti. And they had the machines and so forth, which I've used before because I own this property on 697 Main Street. And they happen to like the large brick wall to use there. And it was a great service. You know, you pay, I don't even remember exactly what the fee was, $40 or $60. They come with the machine, they clean it way better. I've actually personally tried to clean it myself. You get the stuff all over you, it doesn't come out as well. So I've appreciated the city's use of this, but it's now literally been 2 years. And the last time I contacted someone, the machine was broken. They didn't know when it was gonna be back in service, and I just wonder if there are any plans to bring that back into service, because at the end of the day, you know, someone came and painted on my building. I didn't ask them to do it, and now it sits there, and obviously, just like the broken window theory, the longer it's there, the more paint and stuff I'm getting on the building. So I want to ask the council if we're going to get that machine up and running again. It was a great service, especially for someone like me who was, didn't ask for it, but obviously I want to keep my property in the best shape I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we thank him for what he did.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say something. There was two gentlemen up here speaking about the water bill, and I want somebody to look into it. Can we do that?
Sure,
My
Councilwoman.
bill is going up too.
Through you, Madam Chair, I was going to comment on that just to let all the council members know, and I'd like to thank the Mazzarelli family for bringing this so forcefully to our attention. We've been working with Mr. Mazzarelli for a year or two. This is not the first time this has happened. I just want to let the council know and the public at home that in last year's council debate about the budget and in the mayor's recommended budget, a full-time resource was added down in our finance department to our water, sewer and sanitation collection and customer service role. Up until that point, all water, sewer, sanitation for the entire city was handled by one part-time person working 20 hours a week. It was only in February that we were able to replace the full-time person that left the city as part of the budget crisis and, you know, the downward spiral that led to our $13 million deficit. And the part-time resource could barely return the phone calls that we were getting from the customer. So just wanted to let this council know, and particularly the new members, that it was as recently as just really 4 weeks ago that we put that resource on for water sewer. One of the things that that new person will be doing is getting those warning letters out earlier so that the problem that Mr. Mazzarelli relayed to you, which I verified was accurate, you know, the letter went out 2 months later, hopefully we will not have that happen again. And then lastly, we're also looking at potentially getting some new software for our water, sewer, and sanitation department. We may come to the council as part of the 19 budget to talk about that. But there are sophisticated technologies that would make an automatic call to our customers when they see it. A lot of this could be automated. And so what I've asked Mr. Brady to do as part of the 19 budget work is take a look at whether we could save more than it would cost for us to get that software. I mean, you could do all kinds of things, electronic billing, email billing. There's a lot of things that we're looking at down there. So thank you very much.
Can I add something to that about the water? I'm sorry. Another issue is that some people still don't have those new meters. Is there a way we can audit and maybe go around door to door? We can all take up our own wards and get people to get the new meters, because as long as they have those old meters, it's going to affect everyone's water kind of, because the uses is going to vary from, you know, street to street kind of. So is there a way we can identify who does not have the newer?
I think we've had, I don't want to speak for Commissioner Brady, but I know when I was Finance Commissioner, I'd asked that question, and we were in the process of inventorying, for lack of a better word. And from memory, Councilwoman, there are 400 of those. The issue is that the old meters that were not replaced were often not replaced because of some other problem. And so it's a bigger lift to resolve that. And then the second component is, of course, I think what we might need to do is open a window where you can go back and revisit the ones that were not upgraded to the new meter, find out why. But again, part of that would be, we would need to provide the new meter, and that's a budgeting concern, which we might bring to the council as part of the 19 budget.
All right, any unfinished business?
Councilwoman, somebody brought up a graffiti machine earlier tonight. Can Mr. Nelson or someone address the broken graffiti machine?
If it's broken, we're going to fix it. It sounded like a wonderful idea, and we're going to get that thing back in operation. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, if I could just follow up on that, I know that the graffiti machine that we have, we do use, however, it is a bit cumbersome and is not able to be used on all the different surfaces within the city, and it is sort of site-specific, just so, Mr. Mazzarelli, has it been to your building before? Okay, good, okay.
Once before, right, Mr. Mazzarelli? Several times? Okay, thank you.